Hello, my name is David Gilligan. I founded Gilligan Tech here in Oslo, Norway. And one of the things that we intend on doing is providing distance education worldwide in various technology fields. This is actually our first video, and it's going to show you how to set up a Raspberry Pi, which will fit in the palm of your hand, basically. You can see it's very small, and it's actually powered by this chip here is the brains behind it. So it's really amazing, and it's very inexpensive. You can Google the prices. It's definitely worth it. It's run by a non-profit organization, Raspberry Pi, in the United Kingdom. Okay, OSMC is short for Open Source Media Center, and today we're going to look at how to install this on a Raspberry Pi 3B+. Unfortunately, they have not released a version for the newest Raspberry Pi version 4, but a 3B+ is more than adequate to get your needs. The 4 has many benefits, which we'll discuss in other lessons. It's also based on the Kodi media player, where you can have external storage. You can have a hard drive that'll store your music, your videos, movies, etc. And you can actually control everything once you have the initial setup with the smartphone, either Google or either Android or Apple, iOS, and you'll have full control. You just need a keyboard, and a keyboard at least, to initially set it up to get the information that you need to be able to access it remotely. So we'll be going through all that in these lessons. Thanks. Okay, there are many software operating systems and packages that you can use as a media center. So why use OSMC? Well, first, it runs on Kodi, which is one of the most powerful and feature-rich back ends to the media center. It allows you the remote access, like with your smartphone. You can Google remotes. You can actually get a physical remote if you don't want to use your smartphone or your tablet, but I find it to be more than adequate. It's an amazing remote control. It's very inexpensive, and it's very expandable. The software is free except for some optional add-ons, which are 2 codecs for certain media types. I haven't really had to use that, and they're very cheap anyway. You can get legal free content or paid subscription worldwide. So, for example, the public TV here is called Anarcho, and they have several channels that you can get absolutely free. I can also log on to I can install an app to get NPR, the National Public Radio from the United States. And it's available in a lot of countries, a lot of different things. There's weather, there's even a retro gaming module that comes with this. And it's easy to install, configure, and maintain. It's I put it intermediate because the initial installation is a bit tricky, because you have to gather certain information, but after that you should be smooth sailing. Okay, I said in the previous slide why OSMC, so it's only fair to go into why not OSMC. OSMC is a bit bulkier than other Kodi-based media centers, but with that you get a lot of features and ease of installation of apps. And like mentioned before, unlike some others, it does not yet support the Raspberry Pi 4B. The 4B gives you actually dual monitor access. It gives you hardware decoding for certain codecs. If you want that in OSMC, you'll pay a license fee for MPEG-2 and VCI, and it's a 2.40 quid for MPEG-2 and 1.20 for the VCI license fee. But it does have a great and flexible user interface. So we'll see what you think. I'd appreciate any feedback. Thanks. Okay, to get started, you're going to need your high-speed RAM card, and you're going to put the little micro into the reader, and most computers have a reader, or else you have to buy an external reader writer. But OSMC has a downloadable installer for the Raspberry Pi and many other types of equipment. It's recommended, and we're going to use that installation process. They also have disk images, but this gives you a lot more flexibility. We'll not go into detail about how to set up a Pi, a case, SD card, and others, as they're covered in our Intro to Raspberry Pi section. The first step is to visit the official OSMC website located at https://osmc.tv. Choose Download and choose the installer app for your operating system. So you'll see there's Windows and there's Mac. So this is what you're going to use to create the SD card that you'll eventually put into the Raspberry Pi. Once you've downloaded and installed the OSMC installer, and I won't get into details because it's slightly different on a Mac, but from Windows, the process is the exact same. So if you know how to install software, you just double click on it, say yes, give it administrator access if it needs, and start answering some questions. The first screen that's going to come up is please select your language. Don't really know why it's there. Maybe it's for the future, but there's only one choice, that's English. Now you would want to install on a Raspberry Pi 2 or 3, because you can install an Apple TV, for example. OSMC makes their own device. So there are many options. Make sure you choose a Raspberry Pi 2/3. Then you select the version. Unless you have a reason not to select the most, these are the safe, not beta tested, but stable releases. So it's in chronological order. So the newest is on top, the oldest is on the bottom. I always go for the newest, never had a problem. Now you can install OSMC in different ways. We're going to use the SD card because that's the most used process with Raspberry Pi. Next, more questions. Okay, the next questions are about your networking and your media selection. I use a wireless connection, which means I'm going to need to put in my security type, SSID, which is the name of your router, and the key is the password. If you use a wired connection, you actually have a physical Ethernet cable going into your computer. You will not need to do this. Finally, you need to select where you want to put the media. And of course, you want to put it on the SD card that you've already inserted in your computer. You'll see the device ID, and mine is a 32 megabyte card, so you'll see just over 30 megabytes available. So make sure you select the right drive, because if you select the wrong drive, it will erase it. Okay, the final question is pretty much an easy one. Do you agree to the license agreement for OSMC? If you don't check the box, you will not be able to download it. So you basically have no choice. Once you do that, it'll begin downloading immediately. It could take a bit of time, but be patient. It's installing it onto your downloading to your computer, and if you need to reinstall it, it'll be saved on your local computer. Then it installs it on your device, and that might take a little time too, but patience is a virtue, and you will get there, guaranteed. Okay, with this last step, your SD card is loaded with OSMC and ready to use. Make sure you safely eject hardware. On a Mac, you go into Finder, and you can left click or you can hit the arrow button and say remove device. Similar on Windows, you can go to Windows Explorer, left click on it and say remove device, or go into the hidden icons, at least on mine, and say safely eject device. Make sure you do that all the time because it's very sensitive and it could completely mess up your installation. So next time we're going to go into the details about how actually, now that we have a working Raspberry Pi with accessories, you'll need a HDMI cable to go to your TV if you use a TV, or you can also use a HDMI to video cable, because the Raspberry Pi has output in HDMI, and that's actually quite good. Very good quality. So I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks.